How are you doing? It's me, it's Craig. Welcome to Flooded. And I have just watched the end of Picard Season 3. I watched episode 10. I quite liked all of Season 3. But I know that everybody is absolutely in love with the show. Everyone is very, very happy. And I'm kind of like reluctantly making this video because everyone's going to hate me so much for my opinions. But I have them, and these are things that jumped out straight away to me. I've already spoken to a couple of people, and they've said, "Oh, I didn't even notice that. No, I don't think that's the thing. It doesn't matter." And these are all valid points, but I'm very happy to listen to other people's reviews and be told or convinced otherwise that any point I make is nonsense. I'm glad that Star Trek is still being made. I'm glad of that. Discovery, I think, is gone. That was a disaster. I think seasons 1 and 2 of Picard were no good. Season 3 had a lot of promise. I know that Patrick Stewart just recently even has said that when he told them he was, when they asked him, would we want to do Picard with you? He said no reunion show. And the writers must have known best because they said, well, that's what we want to do. And he says, well, no, I don't think that's a good idea. So they tried Patrick's idea in seasons 1 and 2, and it didn't work. Season 3 was a reunion show, absolutely was. And I think that if season 3 was the first thing we'd seen in the season Picard, and I don't think it should have been called Picard, it should have been called Next Generation, because that is what season 3 is. It is a Next Generation season. Legacy generation, if you like. Maybe they should have called it that, the legacy generation. They could easily do another 3 seasons with all these actors, and it would be pretty interesting. Imagine they were given like a ship, Enterprise Legacy, and they were like a ship of like geriatric admirals all going off to do some sort of mission or other that was specific for people with their experience. I don't know, but the season was great, but I was so looking forward to season 10. This is what I thought was going to happen, or I hoped would happen. I thought there'd be a big confrontation with the Borg, which we've seen a million times before, but this time at the last minute, in the same way as the end of his Endgame, or one of the Avengers films, they basically all these portals open up and then all the team appear to support. I wanted to see the Enterprise D confronting the Borg ship, and then the Reliant appears, and then the original Enterprise appears, and then I don't know, this appears, and then that appears, and all these things, all these like iconic characters appear and help, and these guys have survived because they don't get sucked up by the Borg taking over the young characters in Star Trek. That's what I was kind of hoping might happen. We might have a similar thing like that, and then we would have had like a whole Star Trek doffing of the cap for the fans. And I think that's what this show is. We're seeing it Star Wars as well. It's like, look, there's all your fan stuff. These characters are now dead or dying or sitting in their rest homes playing cards now. Let's move on with some new characters. Okay, guys? And I think that they now have the green light to go ahead and do that. So what then was my problems that I have with Picard season 3? Well, let's have a look into it, shall we? So, season 3, rushed plot. I kind of feel that because they didn't do what I said, and this is why they should employ me, because they didn't, everything was very rushed. It was like, do you remember at the end of like episode 7 or something, they're all sat in the reading room and they were doing this moment together where they were saying, this is one of the special times, it's all about family, and I remember a time with you, and you guys are my best friends, and this is an amazing, and I thought, oh, what a nice ending. And then after they'd done all their round of lines to each other, it ended on Picard. He says, right, then let's go and get this Borg then, and sort out these changelings have infiltrated Starfleet. By the way, what happened to that plot line? It was an A story. Changelings had infiltrated Starfleet, and they brushed it aside with some changeling coming off a transporter. I know that they covered it in voiceover, but that's telling, not showing, and we needed to see it. Anyway, that's not one of my points actually, but so I think that things were all a little bit rushed at the end, and I think that they could have put this storyline out across this storyline alone with the changelings out across all 3 seasons, because there seemed to be no references to the first 2 seasons at all. I mean, apart from the data bit, but that could have been covered in another way. I didn't watch seasons. I watched a little bit of season 1, and I just couldn't bear it anymore. I think that Patrick Stewart is, struggling to do this kind of stuff, and I love him. So, I want to remember, in a way, Next Generation for the show Next Generation. So, rush plot. Right, so getting into the nitty gritty of it, the Borg cube, a defenseless Borg cube. I'm not quite sure why I mentioned that there. The thing is that the Borg cube was kind of buried into Jupiter's red eye, and when it was being attacked by the Enterprise, there was no. The Queen could have got the ships, from Earth, which is like literally 2 seconds away. They could have got some of the ships to come and help defend the Borg ship, and that didn't happen. The Borg ship defended itself, and I just thought it was a bit odd because, and also it seems very unlikely that ship would have been able to combat the Borg cube. I don't know. I know the Borg cube was not fully operational, and a lot of drones that were dead and whatever, but they seem to be putting up a pretty good fight. I thought the Borg capability against Starfleet was, I thought it was more powerful than the Enterprise D. But I could, once we saw the Borg fire a green ray, I'm not fire a green ray through the saucer section. It just went straight through. No, it's the Voyager, wasn't it? It would just cut a hole straight through Voyager saucer section. So why is the Borg cube defenseless? Why has Jupiter not been monitored by Earth? I mean, if anything entered the red eye area of Earth, even now, we'd have amateur people with telescopes, bits of glass in the back garden spotting it. So that was kind of like what happened there. When was Beverly pregnant with Jack? Wasn't she like in her 40s in season 1 of Star Trek? Jack is 35. Beverly's 74 now. So, sorry, well, I don't know how old she is in the show, but she's 74, right? Maybe you're telling me she's 50 in the show? I don't know. I don't think so. So she would have been pregnant with Jack during season 1 of Next Generation. Bit weird. Worf and Riker, when they went into the Borg ship, didn't do anything. They fought. They had like a bit of hand-to-hand combat with some drones, and it seemed like it seemed a real palming off for those characters, like giving them something to do, a bit of action. And they were in like this small confined hallway. They weren't even. I felt no sense of exploration. I didn't feel anxious for them at all. They were in there. They had a fight, and then they sort of stood around and like, what should we do now? Oh yeah, we've got to protect the captain because he said that line, didn't he? Like like Picard had looked after him for all these years. He hadn't really. I know. How had he? I didn't understand it. I was like, no, that didn't happen. Are we making things up a little bit here? I'm doing a massive downer, right? And I'm sorry, and you're getting mad with me, and I can almost feel you through the screen that you're getting mad with me. But I'm going to continue anyway because I'm upset. Seven and Raffi don't do anything. They don't. They're in the ship, and they're going right bombing around this Borg cube. No, they're not. They're attacking all the Enterprise ships. All the Starfleet ships, and they got a cloak on and stuff. And I'm just thinking, well, it's kind of like they're not really achieving anything. They're not. Are they? Are they really having any sort of impact? Them against the entire fleet, like bombing around, like pecking away, like I don't know, what do you get? Those like midgies. They're like a midgie. And I just thought, oh, they're not really doing anything. So Worf, Riker, Seven, and Raffi were given these like benign tasks that don't really contribute to saving the day. I'm jumping around, right? And this was all like mind dump in my notepad here. in my phone. Whoa. And Worf is shattered when he gets back to the Enterprise D. Do you notice that? He's like, he gets back and he slouches down. I know that might be a joke. I know he's become a little bit of a sort of joke character, which I'm not really keen on. I would like him to be a hard-faced warrior still, but now he's a pacifist comedian. But yeah, he sort of comes down and slouches in his chair. Yeah, it's like, and he falls asleep. I mean, I know they have to give everyone a wrap up thing to do, but I'm not sure. I was kind of, I don't know. He didn't really do anything. Is that the joke that he didn't do anything? I don't know. That sort of stuck out for me. No Borg resistance in the beacon area. So the ship, Enterprise, is flying through the cube and gets to the beacon area, and it just sits there staring at it for a bit. No laser fire. Just sitting there having to think what it's going to do next. What should we do now? And the Borg like, oh look, it's in the most important part of us, the very heart. I mean, by the way, this is Star Wars. By the way, this is what they do in Star Wars, getting into the core of the Death Star. Same thing. So there's no original storytelling here. I've kind of seen the story over and over, but that's fair enough. You know, I know about Sword of a Thousand Faces. Not Devil is a Thousand. I've got it over there. I can't remember the name of the book. Hero of a Thousand Faces. So there's no resistance to when they're at the beacon and they're just sort of sitting there thinking. The Borg Queen is in a very confined space, and I know that she's like this grossly disfigured thing, and I know that there's a dysfunction. The Borg are dysfunctional, and that's why they're taking over human beings via the matter transfer. And that's the plan, and so they have to be they've got diminished capability. I understand, I get it, right? But she's in this very confined space, and Jack's there for some reason, like he's an important part of it. I don't understand. I mean, like, son of Locutus, I guess. I know they have a big conversation about it. I don't really care. He's got this rubber thing on his face. His costume that he's in is kind of crazy. And he walks onto the Borg costume is supposed to be like wiring and stuff, and they walk like this, they're kind of like robotic slightly, and he's walking around like he's wearing a rubber costume, which of course he is. Ships flying in Borg ships. Ships flying in Borg ships. I mentioned it earlier. I don't think ships can fly in Borg ships. Certainly something the size of Enterprise D would struggle. Otherwise, they would have done it. They didn't even think to get a runabout going there. So that was kind of like, yeah, okay. 2 vote giving captaincy to 7. 7 is, I made a note of it. Why are they giving captaincy to 7? They're not really a, she was like, I put that, she was contemptible, she was disobedient. She had temper issues, and Tuvok is here giving her captaincy. I didn't make any sense. I think somebody with those, she didn't respect her own captain. And I know there's this thing with him saying, oh, yes, she was loyal. And no, she wasn't loyal to him, not particularly. She went against his, the fact that it starts with her not being loyal to him. So I didn't really understand that. I didn't understand it. Borg Queen did not detect Enterprise. Why did the Borg Queen not detect? All these lasers are firing at this ship that's going through your cube, and she didn't detect it all. I know that they were dysfunctional, but the cannons were detecting it. Something was firing at the ship. There was an element of intelligence and algorithm at work, and she wasn't tapped into that. I don't know. As kind of maybe that was the case. Maybe she's just benign, and that's why they needed Jack to do it. But Jack didn't detect it. Jack could have told her. I don't understand that either. Gloomy lighting again. I so liked it, and I made a video about it. How it went, or a tweet or something. When they went onto the Enterprise, all the gloomy lighting went away, and we were back on the Enterprise D with a bright, like, studio lighting, almost, not quite. And it was brilliant, and I loved beiges and color and red, warm reds and everything. All looked great. But no, we're back into blacks and grays and blues, and I was like, I would get depressed being on these ships. Character arcs. I didn't see the character arcs within the season. And people are going to be like screaming at me here. I think Picard is exactly the same at the end of this season, pretty much as he was at the beginning. At the beginning, you could say, well, his mission is that he wants to understand the importance of family and find a family. That wasn't the theme stated at the start of season 1. That's kind of what happens. But it's not made clear to me that he's particularly after a family. I didn't see any, it doesn't take much to show, not tell, to show in the episode 1, season 1, a picture of him, lamenting, his past and the fact that he's on his own and that he's lonely. He seems quite happy to me. He's got like a couple of people looking after him. He's got a team of workers, and he seems like, the opening image is him alone in his bed. That's, I think, scene 1, episode 1. Yeah. And then the end image is him sat around a table with his friends. I get all that. What happened to his 2 colleagues back on Earth that were looking after his chateau? What's the end of it? Have they got a storyline at the end? No, nothing. That's it. Dead, gone. Okay. Even my daughter line. Oh yeah, that kind of bugged me. It's a silly thing, really. But Geordie says even my daughter couldn't navigate as well as this. Like whatever. She's like 14. Jack's mental health. Jack has just been infiltrated and being part of the Borg, and he's been all along. We've seen him having these terrible experiences and going out of his mind. A year passes, and he's given a very responsible position on a spaceship. No, don't think so. But yeah, pernickety, nitpick, possibly. Thief, pirate, and spy, and then Jack gets the 3rd seat. Yeah, good point. And I know that they think let's just like be really transparent about it, that's what's happening, and make a joke out of it. No, it's not a joke. Why are Starfleet given these positions and a ship to a thief, a pirate, and a spy? It's insane. It's stupid. And yeah, that sucks. And I think that it wouldn't happen. The sickly bar scene, self-aware. I think bye-bye to Sir Pat Stewart. I felt that there was a little bit of actors saying goodbye to a fellow actor who's getting on a bit. That's how it felt to me. I felt that we've had so many moments of, you as a family to me, and this. I feel like I've seen that like 3 or 4 times in season 3 alone. So for this just felt like another sickly scene to me. Where was Guinan? Is that how you spell Guinan? No, Wesley. Now, I've even heard somebody say, I'm so glad they didn't bring back... This is how he sounded when he said it to me. I'm so glad they didn't bring back Wesley. No, I'm kind of sad they didn't bring back Wesley, especially having read his book about how bad he felt. I know he was included in the other seasons, but I think it's a shame. I think that that would have been a good thing. It'd be nice to see... Because Picard was always kind of like a father figure to Wesley anyway, because Picard was best friends with Wesley's husband, or Wesley's father. Sorry, Beverly's husband, Wesley's father, who's called Jack. And it would be nice to see Wesley return and being see these 2 brothers together. I don't know. I would have liked that. And finally, what happened to the changelings? I think I said earlier this isn't even one of my top 20. It is. It's my number 20. What happened to the changelings? The whole story kind of just disappeared. And yeah, it might be continuing on in some news show. It's not going to be called Picard, but you have to wrap it up, and you can't just tell us. Which is what they do. They told us in voiceover, showed us a shot of some changeling being captured on a transporter. That's not good enough, man. This was our A story, and for it just to be brushed aside like that was kind of doing my head in. Now, I apologize in advance that how negative I've been about this. This video is going to get downvoted, and everyone's going to say they hate it, and the comments are going to be that I suck as a person. I'd be interested to know your thoughts on any of the things I've said. What do you think about the show? I mean, you loved it, right? Everyone loved it. I'm the only person who didn't like it. And that's why my YouTube channel is so incredibly unpopular. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Cheerio.